co-host, so we help people in case while you're welcoming people.
Very good. There you go. And Linda.
We let people in while you're checking.
There you go.
Thank you.
Okay. Yes. And Juan Carlos. Okay, great. Welcome, everyone. We're just going to get started. And as more people join us, I will just bring them into the meeting. So glad you're all here this evening. Thank you for being with us. So welcome to the Path of the Warrior Sage Dojo. Really excited about tonight because we're going to be discussing a very powerful chapter called Intention. So I wonder if many of you read the whole chapter or were able to at least get partially in. How many read the chapter? Awesome. Great job, you guys. Really, really good to see that. So we're going to have a really great discussion tonight. And so also I wondered during the past couple of weeks, has anyone done any dyads with friends or family members? You know, the one-on-one talking back, you know, back and forth with some of the suggestions that we put out there on the Warrior Sage page. Any dyads? No? That's okay. Well, and also we have the activations on the Warrior Sage page, warriorsage.com. You can always go in there and just easily download the done for you activations. There's the power, abundance, and relationship. They're really fabulous. You really have to do nothing but just plug it in and away it goes. And it's really powerful. You invite some friends over and some family members and just participate, and it's really great. Hello, do you pronounce your name Jalen?
Yes, Jalen, yeah.
Jalen, nice to have you tonight. Thank you for joining us. So I'm going to pass it over to our esteemed Linda Robinson tonight, and take it away, Linda.
Okay, well, welcome everybody. Good to be with you this evening, and really happy about this chapter. You're reviewing this chapter because it's probably my favorite one. I mean, of course, everything builds on everything, right? And so it's a progression, it all builds on each other. But this part on intention is really powerful. And to me, you know, I'll give you some of my real life examples as we go on, because it's probably been the most impactful thing in my life in terms of really living a life that's free and joyous, and having, you know, most of my dreams and aspirations come true, and not even knowing how that it was going to happen, but just having it unfold. And so, you know, I'm just really excited to be sharing that with each other. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go through some of the summary points, you know, not all of them, there's a lot of points, but the important ones, and give you a little bit of what I think about it, and feel free to raise your hand and to add how it affected you or any examples in your life. You know, and as you know, as you're reading this book, it's not just a read, it's an implementation book, right? It's an absorption book and an application book. And so the more that you can actually take these chapters and really apply them in your life and start really shifting your thinking and your way of verbalizing to yourself, you know, your self-talk and all of that, the more that you'll really start seeing a big shift in ease and flow in your life. I mean, how many of you would like to have more ease and flow in your manifesting? And so that's what I look at this whole book is about the ease and flow of manifesting. And this chapter in particular. So, hi, Tony. Good to see you. Okay, so it starts off, it talks about conscious dreaming. And in conscious dreaming, the mind controls the game script. And basically, you know, all conscious dreaming is it's allowing yourself to wake up during your dream. And if you practice it, if you have that intention, if you say to yourself, I'm going to wake up, when I go to sleep, I'm going to wake up and I'm going to be present. And I'm going to be conscious during my dream. And you start practicing that, it starts happening for you. Did anybody practice that this week? Try it. You know, it's really an interesting, and the practicality of it is that your dreams are less dense than normal life. And if your mind tells yourself you can fly in your dreams, you know, and consciously you just say, okay, let's fly. Or ever have like one of those chase dreams? And you know, you wake up in a cold sweat or something. When I started practicing this, I was able to actually stop in those chase dreams and just tell myself, you know, let go of fear and turn around and face it. And all of a sudden, whatever was chasing me just disappeared. You know, and I'd wake up just feeling empowered and strong, and not that feeling that you wake up with sometimes after a dream that you don't even know exactly what happened, but you know, you just wake up feeling like this contraction, right? So anyway, that's one of the benefits of lucid dreaming, of conscious dreaming, is that your dreams are less dense and you can actually make things happen that you might not even make happen as easily in real life. Because, you know, if you tell yourself to fly, it may not happen. But in your dream, if you tell yourself to fly, you should just lift off, you know? Or let's go visit Cindy, you know, in my dream. Yeah, Juan?
Yeah, I mean, just echoing what you said, Linda, tonight we're gonna be talking about outer intention, the art of manifesting. And it sounds a little woo if you cannot practice it and experience it somehow. And that's what the invitation is throughout this, you know, vivid lucid dreaming. Okay. And that's why it's so important to do it. So the practice, and make sure you remember, the practice is figure out a way to remind yourself throughout the day a few times to ask the question, am I awake? Am I awake? You want to set up the alarm, you want to do something, you know, set up a time where at some interval, where with regularity during the day, you ask the question, am I awake? And what you're supposed to do, what you want to do, is to stop, breathe, check on yourself, and look around and see if it all makes sense or not. Okay? Remember, pay attention to the details. That's what it is. The more you practice this, what's going to happen is at night when you're sleeping, here and there, you're going to have that embedded in yourself. That's how you recognize that one. So there's one more little trick to this. I'll give you one more trick that we've learned throughout the reviews of this chapter, is you raise your hand and you look at it when you ask, am I awake? Because in a dream, things tend to change because you're going to be in a different sector. This is not a new word for you guys. You all know what a sector is on the Reality Transurfing language. So you're going to be in a dream, you're in a different sector. And usually when you look at your hand, you might notice that you're missing a finger, or it's shorter, or it's funny, or something is different. So it's a good way for you to, am I awake? And you look at your hand, and it's a way to, oh, okay, Everything appears okay. Because those details, those subtle details are the ones that are going to tell you, remind you that you possess potential in a different sector. And it's a very interesting practice because we are so easily stuck in our life, right? That we're not aware of this thing. And a very powerful concept that we're going to be reviewing tonight and drilling it all the time is, in order to control our life, our destiny, we must be aware. Okay, because the moment we're aware, and through being able to experience lucid dreaming, we know that we can control outcomes. We practice the outcome. So that's the beauty of lucid dreaming. It's just knowing that anything, as Linda was saying, I'm in trouble. No, I'm not in trouble. Boom, suddenly you change whatever it is that you want. Because you're in dreaming, you could do it with ease, right? Remember, dreaming is not just a random thing that happens and whatever. No, it's actually your soul traveling. Okay, so the trick is to have the mind set the direction of the ride. So that's the beauty of it. So I challenge you guys to practice and to ask yourself that question during the day: am I dreaming? Am I awake? Sorry, am I awake? Just to start recognizing, and you might surprise yourself. You will actually. The more that you practice, you will surprise yourself one of these times waking up in a dream and then having fun doing all kinds of interesting things.
Thank you, Juan. Yeah, and then the next point is dreaming is the virtual journey of the soul through the alternatives of space. And Juan just mentioned that. That's exactly what it is. It's our soul's intention. It's our soul moving through space easier than we do it in normal living because there's less denseness to it. So it's easier to just move into the next sector. Okay, and desire is the concentration of attention on the goal. And so that's just the definition, the definition of desire. You have a goal, you concentrate your attention on it, and there's a desire, right? And so just having a goal doesn't make it really a desire. It's like you have to really focus your attention on it to feel like, wow, this is really a desire. It keeps coming up. It's like, I just booked my trip, a vacation to Saint Martin in the Caribbean for December. And this whole last 6 months, I had a desire to book something. It's like it was almost to an obsession. It's like, please let things open up so I can go scuba diving. So that's a desire.
And the challenge with a desire, guys, remember. Okay, actually, I'll ask you. I need you guys to come. We want you to participate. What is the problem with desire? Yeah, go, Carrie.
That I forget the proper word for it, but the balanced forces, that we want it so badly that it ends up balancing back the other way.
Beautiful. That's the whole thing. Remember, this is where we start adding all the things that we've learned before. Whenever I want something so badly, then work gets impossible. The finances getting, like for Linda's, she wanted to go somewhere, right? Well, if she didn't know this concept, then all kinds of things will happen in her world where it will be impossible to book a trip. Okay, so remember, desire only focuses on the goal, and then, oh, I want to do this. And then you create all these things that we've talked before about, oh, if I could get on a trip, then I'll be happy. Okay, so you create all those excess potentials that trigger balancing forces, and then it becomes impossible to book a trip as she did. Okay, so that's the trick in here, to be aware of, oh, okay, aware, you remember the word aware? Oh, I want this. Okay, so then you understand, and you become aware of how much energy you're putting into it, and you manage it, so then that way you could move on and take action.
Thank you. Yeah, and it is not desire that is realized, but intention. So the desire, you can, you can feel it, you can have it, you can want it. But until you actually have the intention, which is the desire, the intention is the resoluteness to have and to act. So that's what intention is that resolute feeling to have and to act. And so having a desire doesn't mean that you have that resoluteness to have and to act. That's what's intention. Okay, you understand, you get the difference? Okay. Inner intention is the concentration of attention on the process of moving in the direction of the goal. So this chapter talks a lot about the difference between inner intention and outer intention. How do we call it? Internal intentional and external intention. Either of those terms. So inner intention is making progress towards the goal. Having your to-do list, scheduling things in, using your own assertiveness, your own willpower, your own discipline. And sometimes it feels like it could be pushing a boulder uphill, because sometimes there's efforting involved in internal intention. But it's making that progress. Right? Anything else about that one?
Yes.
I have a
So-
question.
Yeah.
Go for it, Mary.
So, I'm sorry. So inner intention and outer intention, I'm a little not confused, but the separation. So inner intention has more, you put more effort towards it, than outer intention is more of a flow.
We're gonna
Yes.
dive into that precisely. That's what we're gonna do. That's what we're gonna do over the next few
Okay.
minutes. Inner intention is just willpower.
Okay.
Whatever you can do, whatever I can do to achieve my goal right now. In other words, in my space, in my world, what can I do to achieve what I want? Okay, I'm gonna work harder to make more money, to book that trip that I want. Okay, I'm gonna work so hard that I'm gonna open some space for some weeks in a month or two. I'm going to, whatever it is, I'll do it. So some of the words that come is, it's all hard work. It's all about me achieving things. That's what inner intention is about. Just willpower, and it's all about how do I transform the space that I'm in. Does that make sense? That's what
Yeah.
inner intention. We're going to talk about outer intention, but for now it's just inner. Go ahead.
Don't you need inner intention to get the action going?
Yeah. So in some way,
There's nothing wrong with inner intention.
there's nothing wrong with it.
All
There's
right.
nothing wrong with it.
Mhm.
But wait till you discover the power of outer intention. That's the beauty. Okay? Because in one way, it's a mule working hard to achieve things. The other one that we're going to dive into is how do things suddenly happen in some random ways. That's what we're going to dive into. That's the power of reality transurfing, right, Linda?
Yeah, to me, that is the that is the whole deal, is the practice of external intention. And that's the thing that's transformed my life. And external intention is trusting that the universe is going to come together, that all things are going to collaborate to support you, to support your goals, to support your intentions. It's like knowing that you're not doing it alone, or you really have no idea even how it's going to get done. You don't have to even know the steps. You don't necessarily have to have a to-do list. All you have to do is have unity of soul and mind. You know, or heart and mind, soul and mind, is have those two. And we'll talk more about that too. But external intention, I'll give you some examples of that for me, is there was a point, my husband was really ill for a while before he died. And there was a point that I was taking care of him and being his caretaker, and I really didn't feel like working. You know, I have this coaching business and I had clients, but I really didn't feel like putting myself out there and like getting more clients. And all I wanted to do was really be with him and be there for my family and be with my daughter and then practice self-care. I really didn't want to work much. And my internal intention, because I was taking money out of savings at the time. And so I'm seeing the money go out. And my internal intention was saying, oh my God, I have to book more clients. I have to get something going here. And then I just remembered all of this, you know, all of this. And I said, you know what? I am just going, because my soul and mind, the unity of my soul and mind was saying, no, just take care of Alex. Love on him, love on your family, be connected, practice some self-care, and everything's going to take care of itself. And just have intention that somehow the bills are going to get paid and that everything is going to work out without, you know, depleting savings. And I just kept on having that intention and just putting one foot in front of the other and just knowing that somehow the universe was going to support me. And I had no idea how it was going to happen. And what ended up happening is that a girlfriend of mine sent me a Christmas check, just a gift in a Christmas card of $28,000. Who gets a gift of $28,000 for Christmas? And she wrote me this note saying, you were there for me, you know, when my mother died, and I really know you're going through a bit of a challenge right now. I want to help you. I said, please accept this. And she sent me $28,000, you know. And then another friend of mine gave me the name of somebody who teaches a course on how to sell on Amazon. And I said, okay, let me try it. And so I learned how to sell on Amazon. And the next thing I know, I have a product up on Amazon that was one of the top sellers on Amazon during that Christmas. That was so, you know, that time of year that was so difficult for me. And it was one of the top sellers on Amazon. And ever since, it's been providing me a really, really decent income without, you know, just residual income, without doing anything. And it's always from my intention and my absolute trust that somehow the universe was going to support me and that all I needed to do was follow my soul and take care of my husband and make sure that he felt loved and that my family felt connected.
So,
And this happens to me all the time. You know, and it's like I start tearing up because it's almost I can't even believe how supported I feel. And so if this is the one thing you get out of this whole book, you know, is to practice external intention. And so how do you practice it?
so
Okay.
Linda, may I hold on for a second?
Please.
So just for those of you suckers that love to understand how this works, because I'm fascinated by that. So remember, going back to some concept that we've reviewed before, one of the basic concepts of reality transurfing is that there's infinite possibilities, right? You'll agree with that? That's what we've learned from chapter 1. Infinite possibilities, a space of variations. So there is a place there was a place where Linda could take care of her beloved husband. There's a place where I could join some courses that at that moment I thought I couldn't pay for, I couldn't get that money, you know, but still I had that incredible, what's in that Linda's been talking about, my mind and my heart were aligned, okay? And the trick is how do we bring those spaces, those things that we want to achieve, right? So there is a place where everything that you want, not just desire, but anything that you have the intention to have is there. So waiting for the appropriate frequency of thought and heart vibration to manifest. So that's the concept, remember. That's what you have to remember. There is a place where what I have the intention to have is already waiting for my bringing it on, for my calling it, for my choosing to bring it to life, to manifest, versus internal intention, Mary, where it's like, I'm gonna work hard to achieve that, okay? The beautiful thing with outer intention is that in this place where what I have the intention to have, in this place, there is a place where what I have the intention to have exists, okay? And if I learn what we're gonna talk about, how to do it, okay, it will manifest in its own way. How exactly, we don't know. Is it gonna be a friend that's giving us the money? If it's gonna be the lotto? In my case was the mortgage giving me some weird refund, you know, to give me loads of money back to afford pay some courses that I couldn't believe I would. When does the mortgage gives you money back? You know, crazy things that happen, but it's the same thing. We all have all these different crazy things, but the concept is, remember, there's a place where that exists. So you have to remember that. The trick is, how am I aware enough? And I want to answer Jalen's question. He said, how do I balance my intention to have my desires? Okay, because the more I focus, I want to have that, then balancing forces will definitely keep that sector away from manifesting. It will bring all kinds of other balancing forces. So how do I focus that? Well, remember the chapter, there's a whole chapter on importance, internal importance and external importance. Internal importance, you start saying, no, I cannot, how could I get that? How could I have that trip? How could I afford to take care of my beloved? How could I love this person? This person, she's so smart, she's so beautiful, she's not gonna pay attention to me, right? That's internal importance. I minimize my abilities to achieve something. Or external importance is making something so big that we make it unreachable. So how do we work with those things? By being aware of those and reviewing the chapter on internal importance. I just want to make sure that you guys review that chapter if that becomes an issue, okay? But we'll go back into the things that we need to do to work on outer importance. Linda, get back to you. You're muted.
Thank you. Yeah, so how do we practice external intention? You know, that's one of the things, like Juan said, is that first we just have the intention, and then you lower importance. You lower importance, just like, you know, Juan has actually given me this example, but you know, if you go into a restaurant and you're with a friend, and the two of you are talking and having a great conversation, and then you look at the menu and you order something off the menu. Say, you know, I think I'd like a salad. And you order the salad, and then they take the menu away, and you go on talking with your friend. And you know, sooner or later, your salad's gonna come. Most people don't sit there wondering, I wonder if there's really a chef in the kitchen. You know, I wonder if they really have avocado today. You know, or maybe it's been 3 minutes. I think my salad's not coming. You know, it's like most people aren't that neurotic. But when we have a desire, we get that neurotic. It's like, instead of just having the intention and knowing that the universe is going to support us, just like the waiter is going to bring it just like the cook is going to cook it. You know, there's these other people, we just put in the order, and these other people are going to take care of it. And then we're going to get served this really nice salad. And we just go on with our life and converse with our friend. And that's the same concept with external intention. It's like you put in the order, you lower importance. The reason you lower importance is because you know it's on its way. So you don't have to be neurotic about it. And it's a practice. And then what happens, the only reason that it doesn't end up happening and coming to you is because you gave up on it. Because most of the time what happens is we put in the order and then it doesn't happen fast enough. And we start going with the negative thinking that it's never going to happen. I'm not good enough. You know, that wasn't meant to be. I better think of a different goal. I better go to plan B. I better, you know, settle. I better something else. We stop it before it's had a chance to manifest. I'm telling you, if you practice this, it will come to you. But it's just a matter of having the practice and the discipline to not stop it and not put a kink in the hose with, you know, with our negative thinking or our, you know, limiting beliefs. And so you make the intention and then you just move into the sector of space that's where that already is. What that is creating a slide. And so, Juan, have we done chapters on slides already?
No.
Okay.
That's the next chapter, actually.
As the next chapter. Okay, you can
Next
look
chapter
forward
is-
to that.
Next chapter is creating what you want, you know, choosing what is it that I want. We're going to talk about what is the, well, now that's what next slide is. Next chapter is about.
Yeah, so really pay attention to that too, because that's part of this. It's in really how to do the visualization in a way and how to have that intention so real that it just has, it's like it's already done. It's just a matter of you stepping into it.
So the combination for outer intention, the outer intention happens when you actually crack the code. You know, you need to kind of unlock the lock, right? And how do you do that? Linda just told us the basic elements. We need mind, alignment of mind and heart or soul. A mind that may be full, we need to be awake. Is it loaded with negative thoughts, negative beliefs, right? Or not? And if it is, you have now access to some of the AE tools, right? To work on those. That's very, very important. And the next part is the soul, the heart or the soul, which is all those negative, all those feelings, the emotions that you have. Why is this important? Because haven't you guys noticed that most of the times what manifests is negative stuff, right? Most of the times we get what we don't want or what we're worried about. Have you noticed some of you have had that? Has that ever happened in your life? And it sounds like most of you are saying, nope, it's not in my life, which is good news. But most of the times we worried about something. I don't want that to happen to me. I don't want that to happen to me, right? Some of us kind of say that. And the more that we say, I don't want that to happen in my life, the more I'm afraid of what is happening. This and this are vibrating, and they're in alignment. And there's something very powerful in this. Whenever mind and heart or soul are aligned, it's like a green light for manifestation. That's the key word behind all this stuff, okay? So, and because it's more common to worry about the negative things or the worrisome things or the whatever you're afraid of, whatever the negative emotion, feeling, thought you have, you know, limiting belief. I don't have enough money, I don't have the resources, because we tend to, some people more than others tend to drill on those more, then guess what? They keep manifesting. They keep staying on sectors where there's lack, where there's disease, where there's all kinds of things that happen. So that's why it's so crucial to understand that concept. Be aware of what is in here and what is in here, okay? To be able to have the ability to ask and choose what we want to manifest. Because if there's clarity on those two sectors, the lock, the combination will just be perfect, and then you'll be able to manifest whatever it is that you have the intention to have. Is that fairly clear? Any questions on this? This is the combination. You understand it, you know, and you practice it, and do you recognize, what is it that I want, in a way, you know? And you start looking at what's kept me from achieving it. Is it some thoughts, blah, blah, blah? Is it some emotions or so? Okay, I should work on those things. So then I have alignment, and then we'll go into a few more things to make sure that this manifests.
Yeah. You know, like another example, after my husband passed, and, you know, it was about a year that, you know, I was grieving, and I felt like I wasn't really ready for, you know, dating or anything like that. You know, it was about a year. And then after about a year, I just felt my heart kind of opening and feeling this feeling that, you know, I was ready to find out what was next for me. You know, I'm still cute, you know, and I was still interested. I wasn't dead. So, you know, I just wanted to have somebody special in my life. And it's like I did a slide on that, you know, you'll find out more about slides next time. And I was just open to the idea. And I just knew, I said to myself, you know what? I mean, I was in a relationship with my husband. I was married for 40 years. And we had a really good relationship. And so I said to myself, you know, I know how to do relationships. And I'm intent on having a great relationship in my life. And I'm open to what's next for me. And I did a little, Sachin actually had us do this exercise where we did an intention in Play-Doh, you know, in clay, just a 3D thing. And most of the master coaches did their little 3D thing on their business. I did it on a relationship. And I just made a little 3D thing of me and a little 3D thing of a guy. I was pink, he was blue, and we had our arms around each other, and it was very sweet. And 2 weeks later, 2 weeks later, I found my boyfriend. And we've been together ever since. It's like I just knew, you know, I just knew that I was ready, and I just knew that it's like just the right guy was going to appear for me, because I know how to do relationship, and I didn't have anything holding me back. And it's like my heart and my mind were just totally unified about it. And I knew the universe was going to bring just the right one into my life. And so, you know, Julie asked a question like, how do you trust that much? It's a practice. You know, trust me, this is not my family of origins nature. You know, we were all about dissatisfaction, and you know, I could be in Hawaii and find 20 things wrong. So, you know, that is not my nature, but it's totally my nature now. And so I just shifted, you know, practice until it became second nature. And it's like every time you start hearing your mind say, it's taking too long. It's not going to happen. What am I doing wrong? What's wrong here? Maybe this isn't the right thing for me. Whenever you start hearing that stuff, and then you start being willing to give up, it's a practice. You just breathe, you open, you let it go. You say, thank you for sharing. You let it go. And then you just practice sliding into the sector where it exists. And it's like, yes, universe, I know this is on your way to me, just like my salad. And it's like, if you have to do it 10 times in a day, you have to do it 10 times in a day. But it's just a practice. And the more you do it, the less that negativity keeps coming up. Because it knows you're not going to give it energy and you're not going to buy into it. Does that all make sense?
You had one more question, Julia? That's good. That was it? Okay, good. Awesome.
Yeah.
So so the trick, again, remember all those negative things, thoughts, emotions, process them. Keep practicing what Linda just reminded us to always look for the positive on every situation. Why did I get this disease? Some people may ask. So, it slowed me down. It took me away of my running like crazy. Now I have X amount of time to slow down, relax, eat better, right? Take care of myself, reevaluate what I was doing, and go into a better direction. The universe is amazing in its infinite wisdom, right? Instead of saying, darn it, I'm sick, this was going to happen. No, always look at the positive things, okay? It's a practice, as Linda was saying. It's not that easy, okay? But that's part of the whole learning, to vibrate at a certain frequency that makes it easier to then achieve what you want. Because here comes the trick. This is not just about, I'm going to think about it and I'm going to feel into it and it's going to happen. No. Then to go back to Mary's point, then we need to take action. Action must be taken. You need to move in some direction, right? So, but now not with the intention to go and destroy, attack the world, change where things are. From now on, I'm going to start doing this and this and this with a lot of effort. No, we're going to trust that the universe has the best in store for us, and whatever sectors that we're looking at will manifest. Here comes the tricky part, and a little detail. We don't know exactly how is it going to come. We all wish it was straightforward cash in whatever way. But remember, sometimes we can win the lotto. Sometimes a friend could hand us the ticket. Sometimes there's so many ways things could happen. And that's one of the interesting things here. Always to be alert and to know that the universe will make it happen. That sector will manifest. How? That's the beauty of life. Okay, so be mindful on how you ask and what you ask for as well. And one more concept on all this is an interesting concept, is Cindy, I know we talk about this with Cindy all the time, she hates it, is the accept defeat. So again, going back to Jalen's question, how do I, if I want something so much, how do I make sure I don't generate a balancing force, right? If I want that trip so much, if I want that house so badly, if I want something so badly, how do I make sure I don't generate too much energy about it? Well, by accepting defeat, meaning saying, you know what, if I don't get it, it's not the end of the world. I'll give you one example. I think you guys like examples. I think a year or so ago, my daughter, who was in Paris for a semester, calls me. She was drunk, and she started saying such a bad dad I was, okay? And she was feeling really down and depressed, okay? And as a dad, what's the first thing you start saying? Holy moly, she really sounded down, okay? And here comes the interesting thing, is you start worrying, what is this young lady gonna do in Paris? And the worst thing, what can I do? What can I do about it, right? And if you don't know some of this craziness, I mean, if you know some of these concepts, you really go crazy. That's what's the real thought. So believe it or not, at that moment, okay, I actually said, what's the worst that could happen? Okay, the worst that could happen is that this girl kills herself. And the moment I accept that's a possibility, and I saw it as rough as it was for a moment, okay, I accept it as a possibility, okay, and then I took a deep breath and forget it. I don't think about this stuff. Whenever you accept defeat, you just face it, you look at it, and you know it's not the end of the world. You move on. It'll be painful, but it'll move on. At that moment, I had the peace of mind to just say, I trust that the universe has the best in store for me and for her, okay, and sure enough, it was just moment of a bad moment, but high, okay. But we do that all the time. I do that all the time, okay. Whenever I'm looking at something, well, if I don't achieve it, we cannot go to Hawaii next year. It'll be perfectly all right, okay. But boy, it's there, and I know it's happened. It's like, hey, it's like when you order your salad, you just know you're gonna get it. Now, if you don't get a salad, are you gonna panic? And no, you won't. So it's quite an interesting distinction. Take it with what it means. Don't just feel like it's gonna be the end of the world if you don't get what you think, what you have the intention to have. Yet, move fully towards it. As he will say in the chapter, as he says in the chapter, when you go and get the mail, when you walk down to the mailbox, you just go and get it. Or you go and pick up your newspaper. Just go with intention to have it. But if there's no newspaper that day, it's okay. Doesn't make any sense. But yet you still keep moving and towards your goal. And you know that it's going to manifest in some way.
Thank you. And so like Juan said, if you want to exercise control over outer intention, you have to wake up. And so that's basically what that means, is that you have to be conscious of what you're thinking, of what you're feeling, of your surroundings, of how you're moving towards or away from something. The results of your, if I keep thinking like this, which way am I going? What wave am I surfing? Am I surfing the wave that's towards victory, or am I surfing the wave that can't possibly have it? And so it's really about waking up and being conscious in all of those moments. And it says, when you live without conscious awareness, reality cannot be controlled. It just happens.
Yeah.
And so it happens because of our unconscious and subconscious limiting beliefs. And those other things that drive us, instead of our choices and our own empowerment. And this is also just an important point, is that inner intention is the resoluteness in the decision to act. So like Mary was saying, it's like, isn't inner intention important? It's totally important. If I want to exercise and I'm having a hard time getting myself to the gym, I'm going to have to use some willpower. I'm going to have to be able to act and put my, there was one point where I was having a hard time. I'd fallen out of the habit and I was having a hard time getting back in it. And I was telling myself I was going to go exercise. I was going to go on my treadmill. I was going to go to the gym. And I just could not follow through. And what I did was I took my exercise clothes and my tennies and I put them right on the other side of my bed. And I told myself I was not getting out of my bed until the exercise clothes and my tennies were on. I was not even going to the bathroom until I had those things on. Now, once they were on, I was more likely to exercise. And so, you know, there was like this assertive willpower, you know, it was willpower, and I had to act. And so, yeah, you have to act with inner intention. And then outer intention is the resoluteness in the decision to have. So listen to those words, resoluteness in the decision to have. That implies a steadfastness, that you're not giving up, right? You're resolute in that decision to have. And like we said, outer intention is the power that makes this transurfing possible. So, well, we have time. Let's take a few questions or any shares about this or any questions.
There's just something.
Yeah, go ahead.
Alexia, I'm just noticing that if I try to think about it this intellectually, I'm like, no. But if I like feel it in my body and in my heart, then I'm kind of like getting the feel of it. It's interesting.
Yeah, that's the idea. That's what we're trying to do, is really transmit it to you.
Appreciate it.
You know, so that you can absorb it somatically. And that's what to do with this book, is really get the transmission of it and then apply it in your life.
Yeah, the beautiful thing, Julia, is that it's rough to believe it's rough to believe in change when we're so used to what we see. You know what I'm saying? If we've always been in lack and trouble, it's rough to believe that there's a place where I could be enjoying wealth and health and love and incredible things. But remember, that's the beauty of this way of thinking, the reality transurfing way of thinking, okay? Is understanding that the reason I'm stuck in a place is because that's how I think, and that's what I feel, and that's what I believe, and because I only think this is my only reality. The moment I'm aware, and throughout this chapter and throughout the book, it keeps reminding us, remember, don't be just the pawn on the chess game. You're not a pawn on the chess game. None of you are. You're the player that forgets sometimes that it's a pawn and is stuck there in one position to another going forward. Okay? Don't you ever forget that there's a moment where you could actually turn into any piece you want. Okay? And this is a reminder that we all have the power. So yes, it's rough to believe that we can change this, 3D space. We live in a three-dimensional world, but you know now that they're talking about multiple dimensions, that we cannot even conceive, right? So they call it for that, for awareness to the fact that we can actually shake the space where we are, which if we only use common sense, I took some of my notes, it says common sense. Common sense is very limiting common sense, remember. This guy, I always forget his name, Tesla's guy. What's this guy? Was going to space every other day. Who would think that somebody could do that stuff? And he's doing it like nothing. I don't go as frequently to California as he goes to space, But in his mind, there's no, I can't. The guy is wild, His mind is not limited by anything that we could conceive. That's the invitation, guys. Anything that you want, you can achieve it. It's there already. Actually, it's already there. You don't need to fight for it. You just need to allow it to manifest. And how do you allow it to manifest? Through the right frequency on this side and this side. Both are aligned. That's the art. through awareness, through managing importance, to being aware of pendulums. We didn't talk much about pendulums this time, but remember, pendulums want us to struggle. There's a big pendulum called COVID and medicines for COVID and vaccines, you know, worried about this stuff, and you worried about the stuff, so our energies are trapped in this. It's part of the whole big game. Okay, so just be mindful. You just watch it. Okay, I've been trapped by that also. Okay, so be mindful. This book reminds us to, oh, okay, well, there's certainly a disease, you know, but do I need to give it all my energy and go down with it? Maybe no. Let's keep watching. So remember, this chapter, he reminds us, be alert, be aware, just be aware, you know, choose wisely. And remember, it's not just that. You know, he talks about problems. Problems are the result of magnified importance in some areas. If you recognize that there is importance in some place, then the problem disappears and you see the answer to it, right? But anyway, that's very long, exciting answer to the, you know, we cannot see the answer in one place where we're used to this four layers. We cannot see the answer beyond it, or the possibility of achieving anything, or seeing ourselves healthy and in wealth and in any other possible thing. Anything, questions, shares, please. Carrie, you always have great shares. Is your noise suddenly disappeared? There's still noises. Crazy.
Oh no, oh my God, no, now he's playing parking in front of my house to annoy me. It's just, my hairdresser today said it should be a Saturday Night Live skit. It's just, no, unfortunately, he's finding other ways to be. And I try to not engage with it and not feed the pendulum. And I can laugh at him and just go, you know, how miserable must you be to be picking on the old lady next door? But knowing that there's somebody next door who's being passive aggressive and openly hostile to me is also very difficult to juggle. The balance between those two is difficult. And because I don't actually feel I'm in danger, but I still don't like that somebody's acting out their smallness in a hostile manner towards me. And that's hard for me to just let go, which might be where I'm feeding the pendulum a little, but yeah. It's one of those. But I was talking to my trainer the other day and I'm like, I'm so loving that you're just helping me to just fix everything so I can live forever. And he just sort of looks at me like, what on earth are you talking about? I'm like, aren't we so blessed? Look how fantastic and fit and healthy we are. And he's just, you can see he's looking at me and thinking this might not quite be the reality. But the longer I believe that, we can regenerate and we can keep fixing everything, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I always say I'm youthing.
Yeah, I definitely am. I just had a photo shoot today and I was nervous as all hell, but yeah, I'm so delighted with the results. It's like, oh, why was I worried about that? Yeah, I don't know how useful that share is for this week, Juan, but that's what's going on here.
That's perfect. Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, let's do a process. Okay, so we're going to actually integrate soul and mind. We've talked a lot about it, and so we're going to do a process here and integrate soul and mind. Go ahead and just close your eyes. And take a couple of deep breaths. And you're all on mute, but when I ask you to say something about it, wherever you are, you know, just verbalize. You know, verbalize the answer. If you want to take yourself off mute, you can. But otherwise, just verbalize for yourself. Feel your soul or your heart. Feel your soul, your heart. Feel it fully. Make it real and strong. And say something about it into the space. And really say something out loud about it. Okay, feel your mind. Feel your mind fully. Enter it completely. And say something out loud. Say something about it. Okay, other side. Feel your soul. Feel that fully. Make it strong, make it real. Dramatize it. And say something about it. Okay, feel your mind. Feel your mind. Feel it fully. Make it strong. Make it real. Magnify. And say something about it. Okay, deep breath in and out. Feel your soul again. Feel your soul and say something about it. Now feel your mind. Feel it fully. Just verbalize into the space. Say something about it. Now feel your soul and your mind in the same space at the same time as you take a deep breath in and a slow exhale, feeling them both together. And tell us what's happening between the two. Just sharing your space, what's happening between the two. Raise your hand if they're coming together some. Okay, very good. Okay, well, let's separate them out again, and we're going to go back and forth a little bit quicker this time. Feel your soul. Feel your soul completely and say something about it. Feel your mind. Feel it completely and say something about it. Feel your soul, dramatize it, make it big, and share into the space. Say something about it. Feel your mind. And say something about it. Feel your soul one more time here. Feel it fully and completely. And say something out loud about it. Feel your mind. Enter it. And say something about it. Now feel them both at the same time, simultaneously in the same space. Feel your soul, feel your mind as you take a deep breath in and a slow exhale, and share what's happening between the two. How many of you feel them already merged? Okay, very good. We're going to go one more time quick. So whatever's left, just feel that fully, whatever's left. Feel your soul. Feel it fully and completely, and say something about it. Feel your mind. Feel what it does. Feel it fully, and say something about it. Feel your soul. Connect to it fully, and say something about it. Feel your mind. Feel it fully and completely, and say something about it. Feel them both at the same time, in the same space, as you take a deep breath in and a slow exhale, and just allow them to come together like two magnetic poles that want to attract. Don't force anything, but just allow them to come together. And share what's happening between the two. And take a couple of deep breaths. And feel that integration, that merging, whatever state you're in, that expanded state. And just expand it infinitely in front of you. Expand that merging infinitely behind you. To your left and to your right, limitless, limitless expansion of that integration. Feel that merging and expand it upward, far, far away. And feel that merging, that integration, and expand it down into the depth. Let us cascade out of you, expanding infinitely above, below, to the front, to the back, to the left, to the right, in all directions. Infinite expansion. And just imagine a ball of light and take it in and just consciously draw in divine white light and allow your entire body to soak it up. Allow it to saturate you, your body, mind, and soul. And whenever you're ready, you can open your eyes. And just give an honoring to the process. Okay. What are you more conscious of now than you were before? Let's hear. And feel free to put it in the chat box too, but I'd love to hear from some of you. Like, how was that for you? What are you more conscious of now? Yeah, Jalen.
Thank you so much, Linda. I felt so much more alive. It's like something in me is like growing out of my body, and that it's like something has sort of woke up. Thank you for that.
Beautiful. Thank you. Who else wants to share?
I'll share. I feel that I don't know which way it goes, but I believe my soul, my soul and my mind, they appreciate each other more. They're not as separate. You know what I mean? There's a
Beautiful.
yeah.
Yeah, that's great. How did you feel that you're feeling like an appreciation for each other? Yeah. Great. Hey, who else? Yeah, Julia.
Yeah, I'm way more conscious of this incredible sense of wholeness. It definitely moved me to tears, this wholeness of myself, and also that my mind is actually much more than I realized it was, and that it's connected to like the universal oneness, in the same way that my soul is. So cool.
Beautiful. Thank you. Yeah. It's great seeing your beaming faces. And, just ask yourselves, what's an action that you can take to actually even ground this further in your life? And go ahead and write that down. Write that in the chat box. One action that you'll take in order to make this even more real for you. Yeah, awareness that my mind is a wonderful tool that is so much more powerful in service to my soul and working as a cohesive team. Beautiful. Yeah. Had a great sense of stillness, quiet energy, no words, no needs. That's beautiful. And so that's another practice, to just check in and see if your soul and your mind are in unity, or if they have separate agendas, feeling like separate needs, and seeing how you can bring them into unity, in the positive.
And from this place, remember, many of you are already integrating soul and mind. So remember what happens when mind and soul are integrated. Anything could happen. So use this sense of awareness to just focus on whatever it is that you have an intention to have. This is a very powerful moment to cultivate. And now you'd have the skill to bring it back into you. So as you look at it, you're different. We're going to be working with that. Actually, that's the invitation in a minute. Cindy will take us through that. You know, it's invitation. We're going to be practicing how to work on our goals, right? And so how to work on those from this place of integration, because that's the one that allows everything else to happen, to manifest, to come to us with ease.
Beautiful. Thank you. Yeah, so Cindy's gonna give us last minute details and stuff, but allow yourself to stay in this state. You know, don't let it drop. Just keep expanding into it and milk it. So whenever you're ready, Cindy.
So this just feels so integrated. It was a beautiful process, Linda. Thank you for doing that for us.
My pleasure.
Yeah, so thing I wanted to bring up is that our next gathering will be in 3 weeks, because month we had 5 Thursdays. So we will meet again on November 12th. Okay, so same time, same place, November 12th. And during these 3 weeks, if you haven't finished reading this chapter, I really, really recommend finishing this chapter and then moving on to chapter 8, which is slides. And that's just, it fits so well with intention. It's a wonderful chapter. I hope you'll all get all the way through slides, and then we can really have a fabulous discussion next time. And during these next 3 weeks, make it a point to find someone to have a dyad with. And every time we do the notes on the Warrior page Facebook, we put examples of what you can use for a dyad. It's the power, it's really a powerful process to do with someone that you care for, and really great way to be able to learn some vocation. And again, as I mentioned earlier, you can go on to the .com website and just dive into some of those activations that Sachin has done. And he runs the whole thing for you. So you just gather some people, put them in front of the computer screen, or, you know, if you can get it through to your TV, and it's just fabulous. So I hope that you'll take advantage of those tools and those beautiful exercises that are there to take. And let's see, anything else? That's what I had for you. So I'm thrilled that those of you who came tonight were here and shared. And Linda and Juan, thank you for the beautiful chapter review.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, am I awake? Am I awake?
Yeah.
I'll give you one last thing.
Please.
Having unity of soul and mind is like having a light, a beautiful light. Now we're going to learn how to put a slide in front of it so you see wonderful things manifesting and coming up to life. So now we have to learn how to create that slide, how to bring that thing that's going to make it manifest. That's just to get you excited about reviewing your chapter for next time, and bring questions and you know, bring it to life. Okay? Thank you.
Hey, good night, everybody.
Thank you, everyone.
Good night.
Have a beautiful 3 weeks. Put comments if you need, you know, anything you would like to put on the Warrior Stage. Looking forward to that. See you in 3 weeks.
Bye.
Good night.
Thank you. Good night.